Yo, what's happening, Raider Nation? It's your boy Soto here. You know what it is. Raiders versus the world. Talking about the team that the world loves to hate, your Las Vegas Raiders. So the theme for today is something to prove, right? Everyone we're going to talk about today has something to prove or had something big to prove in their career. The big story that I keep hearing all the time, and the one I keep people are always complaining about and second guessing, is what's going on with Jackson Powers-Johnson and Jordan Meredith in that center position. What's the deal? What's going on? What's the problem? What's the issue? Who should be there? Everyone's an expert, right? Everyone's an expert. Now, I love the offensive line. I played on the offensive line. I know what I'm seeing. And that's why I really haven't chimed in, because a lot of people really like Jackson Powers-Johnson and really don't know who Jordan Meredith is all that much. And they want Jackson Powers-Johnson to get the job. There's a couple of things out there that I think a former NFL player who was a great Raider can probably speak on it a little bit better than me. So Richie Incognito was on the morning tailgate on Raider Nation Radio, and he talked about the Jackson Powers-Johnson, Jordan Meredith kind of issue that's been happening in camp and in the preseason. This is what he had to say.
Curious what your thoughts are. You had a chance to work with this Raiders off a lot of the Raiders offensive linemen that are on this team right now. Last year, the Jordan Merediths and the Jackson Powers-Johnsons, and I want to stay right there with those two. Jordan Meredith, to me, has shown that he could be a really good football player at this level. Got a real opportunity last year and really graded out well and played well. What is it, do you think, that the Raiders see in Jordan Meredith that convinced them that he should be given this legitimate shot to play to be their starting center?
Yeah, I think what you see with Jordan Meredith is he plays with good technique. He plays within the rules. He plays with good technique. The one thing about Jordan is he's just a little undersized. So I know there's a lot of stuff going on with him and JPJ right now, but I think when you watch Jordan play, he's got real clean technique. He's undersized, so he knows he has to play with good technique. When you're undersized like that, you can't get away with too much because, you'd be out of position and you're playing against big athletic guys. So I think Jordan, he's clean. He played real well at center. I think he's a smart guy. I think that, playing center is the most important position on the offensive line. The center comes up to the line of scrimmage. He sets the table for the rest of the offense. He comes up. He's looking to identify the front, identify the mic, identify a lot of different things. And when you're playing center, you need a center who's confident, who's going to get the call out quick. The rest of the guys on the offensive line have to have confidence that he makes the correct call, because once he makes the call, then all the communication starts going, and it really sets the table for the offense. I've played in offenses where you're not too sure about the call, or the center's making a late call, and you got other guys out there. I was a perfectionist. Everything had to be done a certain way. So if you don't trust the center making a call, I'm looking, I'm checking, I'm making sure it's the right call, and it's slowing down my process. Then I'm getting in my stance, I'm worrying about the front, the technique I'm trying to hit, stuff like that. So I think Jordan, he's a real clean prospect. He at guard he's a little undersized, but he does play with good technique, so he was able to grade out and play well last year. And I think at center he's playing really well. And then we got Jackson. Jackson is a really talented kid. He's athletic, he's big, he's strong, he's physical. And the one thing I'd like to see him get technique. Going out there and running around and causing havoc is great, but on third and long in the fourth quarter, when you got to have it, you got to have good technique. So I think right now with the competition, they know what they have with Jordan at center, and it's all about Jackson, proving that he can play with good technique, snap after snap after snap after snap. As far as center, it's I played with some great ones. I played with Mike Pouncey, Eric Wood, Rodney Hudson, and all those guys are very, very smart guys, and they're very diligent, and they're on the details, and that's what it comes down to. It comes down to the details, because the position is hard enough when you're just running base offense and you're going out there and you're trying to set the table for the team. But when you're going out there and you're constantly changing situations and you're changing, first and 10, second and short, third and long, fourth and goal. These are all completely different scenarios, and they all have their own rules, and each front has a different rule. So, for JPJ to be successful at center, he'd have to really, really study. He'd have to really, really dig in, and know the intricacies of the offense. Know the little details. Hey, if this guy lines up 6 inches over here, this is what we're doing. Hey, if this guy comes down, this is what we're doing. And I think that's what Jordan really gives him. He spent all summer studying the center position, and you're seeing that hard work and those details show up. Being consistent is the number one thing that you're searching for being a professional athlete, and especially in the offensive line. And what brings consistency is good technique. And all young players are looking to play with good technique. And it's one of those things now where kids come out of college and they're coming from all these different offenses, and some have been in the huddle, some haven't been in the huddle. You're getting a play. The big thing is, you're standing at the line of scrimmage in college and a guy's holding a poster board, as opposed to now in the NFL, you get in the huddle and we're calling 2 plays and we get to the line of scrimmage and we have this massive menu of code words and stuff like that. So for me, consistency comes down to technique. You have to literally go through and do those things in that order every single play in order to set yourself up for success. You can do all those things perfectly to a T, and in the NFL, you might lose the rep.
Richie, sticking one more on JPJ, could this be a case where it is just a young player who's still trying to figure it out?
100%. I think he's a very, very young player. He played a couple seasons at Oregon, but started, maybe around 15, 20 games, something like that, I think, in that number. But yeah, it's one of those things where I've been sitting back and watching everything on Twitter and following your coverage at practice, and going the whole thing in it, watching this whole thing spin. But I think with him, he's a young player. He's a extremely athletic guy. He's a hard worker. It really just starts needing to come together with technique, and that really doesn't click for young guys until you start playing a lot. And when you start playing a lot, you go out there and you don't have success, and you're like, okay, what could I have done better there? Oh, technique. So Jackson, he's going through the learning curve of it and the bumps and bruises of it, and it's one of those things where they're trying to light a little fire under him, and he's a fiery person. We just need him to lock in, grow up, lock in on the details. I totally understand you want to go out there and smash everything you see, but to get to that point where you're pancaking people down the field and smashing people, we got to get you to play consistently, play after play after play after play.
There's not much more to say. I wanted to stay away from this topic because I don't want to divide Raider Nation. I know a lot of Raider Nation really loves Jackson Powers Johnson. Hell, I love Jackson Powers Johnson. I think he's amazing. Before the season started, I'm like, oh, pencil him in at starting center, right? Why wouldn't you? He was a center last year, and he did really well. And moving forward, it should be just much better, right? He's just 1 year older, and he's more experienced and this and that. Well, Chip Kelly offense is nothing to play with. There's a reason why Chip Kelly offenses work. And Richie Incognito kind of alluded that a little bit. He kind of touched on it where he said, you have a play and you have a secondary play with a whole different call. You have to know everything right away. So when Geno Smith is on the line and he sees, okay, I need to get out of this play and get into this play, the center needs to be like, bam, okay, we're out of this play, we're into this. Kill that. Boom, here's the call. You need to be direct. You need to be certain. You need to have the confidence of the rest of the offensive line, and you need to be right. There's so much more that goes into being a good offensive lineman than just being a brute, just being a big, strong, tough guy. If that was all that was needed, there's a bunch of big, strong, tough guys out there. Why are they all not in the NFL? Well, they're not in the NFL because they can't think. They don't have the technique, like Richie Incognito said. And there's a big gap between the guys who have it and the guys who don't. That's why not everybody who's big and strong and tall and can move plays in the NFL. That's why all these guys who get drafted are like practice squad guys. Like, there's a lot more thinking that goes involved. And Jackson Powers Johnson did a great job working all offseason with Maxx Crosby to get his body in shape. He needs to get that mind in shape. And Richie Incognito, I think he ended his clip with the greatest thing ever that I've been wanting to say for a long time, but I just didn't want to inflame a lot of people because I'm not a former NFL player, right? Richie Incognito says it holds a lot more weight. And he said, yes, it's more than just being a big, strong, tough guy who can just maul people and knock them on their ass, right? You need to be able to do all the technique stuff and the mental things so you can do it play after play. There's some issues that Jackson Powers Johnson had with some penalties in the past. Also, just maybe not getting some calls right. And we heard about it. There was a report earlier in training camp and in the OTAs and stuff like that, that even though Jackson Powers Johnson was at center, Alex Kappa was the one making the calls. You just can't have that. Now, Jordan Meredith would not be at center right now if he could not physically do it, if the coaches did not feel he could physically do the job. I think the job of center is Jordan Meredith's to have until Jackson Powers Johnson shows that he can take it over. That's not a slight on Jordan Meredith. But if you hear Richie Incognito talk about Jackson Powers Johnson, he's big, he's tough, he's mean, he's got a mean streak, he wants to pancake guys. That's great. If he can get the mentals in check, right, and if he can be more consistent, it's going to be his job because he wants to be center. He wants to be that guy. But, right now, being a guard, he just needs to be the best guard he can be and work on all that other mental stuff as well. So let's take a look at Jordan Meredith's presser he had. He talked a little bit about preseason battle between him and Jackson Powers Johnson and some other things about the offensive line. Now, it was kind of weird. This video, for whatever reason, cut off the first question. So you're going to hop right into Jordan Meredith's answer to the first question when we don't hear the question, but here it is.
There's definitely things to correct, and we can be better and get calls out quicker and get up to line scrimmage quicker. There's always something to work on. Just because you figure it out one week doesn't mean you have it the next.
How do you feel like the running game's coming along? Not just heading into preseason game 2, but heading into the regular season 2.
Yeah, I feel like, offensive line, it's not one guy that's doing the job. It's 5. So it takes time to build. And, the time that we have going through training camp, feels like we're just gelling more and more.
You've talked about communication, and some of your teammates have actually talked about your communication level. How is that process coming along? And in this offense, is the center asked to do a lot in terms of that?
Yeah, I was told the quarterback's the president and the center's the vice president. So I think there is a lot of communication involved. Anytime that you get a bunch of people working together, you got to communicate and be on the same page, whether it's pass or run. So getting the calls out quick and being decisive and, not hesitating and just going with what, the right call is, that helps everybody else out and getting the play going.
Are you enjoying that aspect of it?
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's a learning curve, of course, but it's a lot of fun going out there and just making a call, getting it right, or seeing the other guys that they see something, whether it's a twist game or whatever it is, and they're calling it out too, and it's just great when you see other people also communicating.
Coach Carroll said he kind of intentionally wanted you to guys to work on the silent count against the Seahawks in that stadium. What makes that tricky in terms of pulling it off when you have all the stadium noise going?
Yeah, just practice, makes perfect. So just going out there and, whether it's through walkthrough or practice or whenever it is, just talking about it, even in the meeting rooms, and just getting out there and speaking through it and then actually practicing it helps out a bunch. And then, just going out there and making sure you execute and do what you practice.
You've gone from being undrafted to now the vice president of communications.
Oh, wow.
What has that journey been like for you to accomplish the things that you wanted to and set out to do so far in your football career?
Yeah, it's really cool. I'm blessed to be able to play the game, especially around such a great group of guys. Seeing the people that have come in this year, seeing them grow is awesome. And I remember last year just seeing Dylan and seeing him and his craft develop. I think that's really cool. And they'd probably say the same. Just when I came in, they were probably like, "Who is this guy?" And then we all kind of see each other grow, and I think that's a lot of cool. So.
Chip's offense has so many plays, so many different versatile looks. How much are you enjoying being part of an offense where literally you're learning something new every day, but no one's going to really be able to know how to predict this offense?
Yeah, there's a lot to learn. I don't want to give anything away, but just going out there and seeing the defense and seeing how they react to stuff. and just asking them what they see. You can tell sometimes it can be difficult for the defense to see what we're doing and then decipher what it is and then go attack it. So that's a lot of fun.
Jordan, just what has stood out to you about Laki Tasi's development as an offensive lineman, especially he's never played football before?
He's developed a bunch. Seeing him from day one. He's never played football before, so coming in and just learning what a Ron Lou is or whatever the play call is, and then now, like he would, go the wrong direction or whatever it is, and now he's out there, and you guys all watched the film probably or saw the game, and just seeing him go out there and dominate the way he did was awesome.
What surprised you about having to translate something that you've known for so long to someone that just doesn't know that language or that fluency in the football terms? Like, is there one thing you're like, oh wow, that's a weird thing?
Yeah, I don't know if there's anything specific. I know that our offensive line coaches, Brennan, Andy, Kyle, Joe, they've done a great job, being patient and then teaching him what he needs to know to be successful, and then him coming in every day and trying to be proactive and learn and get better. That's awesome. I know I've seen a lot of the guys, whether it's Dylan, Jackson, Colton, whoever it is, more interior guys, going up to him and then, giving tips to him. So that's pretty cool too, when you see the, the whole unit coming together to build up one person.
I know you dabbled at center in practice over the last few years here, but this feels like the first staff that really said, all right, we feel like this is gonna be your position. When did those conversations start, and when did you start getting real ready to maybe be the starting center?
Yeah, I think during off-season / OTAs is when they came up to me and said, hey, we want to see you at center. And so, went out there, definitely made mistakes, and then, try to practice during the summertime, get better, and just kind of look at the playbook, and then come back here, and then just give it everything I got, and go out there, make the calls, and just don't look back. So, and yeah.
Jordan, you've started 9 games in your career, but that's usually been somebody who's hurt, you jumped in the lineup. Like, to be the day one starter, what would that mean to you personally?
Wow, that's crazy. We're not there yet, so we got what, 2 more weeks, week and a half. It'd be amazing, and it'd be awesome to go play with my brothers, Jackson, Dylan, Colton, there, DJ, all those guys. That'd mean a bunch. So once we get to that bridge, we'll cross it, but it'd be cool.
Obviously, Laki doesn't have the experience, but are you ever amazed when you look at the size of him just as a human being and the way he's so athletic?
Yeah, I think he comes from a bigger family, and I vaguely remember him talking about his mom making food, and it sounded like she made multiple dishes for dinner. So he is a big guy, and I don't even know exactly what his height is, but he's huge. And, it's crazy seeing him being able to, convert that size. You always want a big guy to be able to play the sport. You see him all the time. You're like, that guy needs to play football here in high school. So for him to come in and slowly start to, get that strength and put it towards football strength, it's pretty cool seeing that.
How long you plan on going with the mustache, and is there a story with it?
Yeah. I think Brock and Michael actually Aiden probably led the charge. I think he's had it the whole time he's been here. And then Brock and Michael had it, so I was like, I'm going to join the party. So.
Have you noticed a difference with the new coaching administration? Just like, is there anything that stuck out to you from your earliest conversations with anyone about their vision for this roster and this team this year?
Yeah, I think everybody wants somebody to come here and compete every day, and that's kind of. I feel like I see it everywhere I'm in. Compete every day, compete every play. So I think that's what they're looking for, and everybody's out there trying to give that to the coaches and to the Raiders.
Good, thanks guys.
Appreciate it, guys.
Good insight by Jordan Meredith on just how things went down as far as who's going to play center. It was, if you guys been paying attention, you guys know what happened. There was a lot of calls when they started installing this offense. And if you know, and you've studied and you're kind of familiar with Chip Kelly's offense, Chip Kelly can flip a play with just a single word. He could flip a play the other way or he can change a play and it's a whole new different scheme and it's a whole new different blocking. It's just a lot more intricate, I think, than what Jackson Powers Johnson has been used to, especially since he came from that Oregon offense where they were like holding up cards and stuff like that. And another thing that, yeah, he did win the award for the best center in college football, but how much was he asked to do? You see that a lot when you get a lot of quarterbacks that come in from more of a spread offense. They come into the NFL and they're like, whoa, what's going on here? I have to go under center. I have to make protection calls. I got to change. I got to actually call. There was a video of Jackson Dart when they were talking about his snap count. Let me hear your snap count. And he just clapped. That was his snap count. And this one thing to make things easier for you as far as players go from the coaches in college, but are you getting them ready for the NFL? This is a situation where maybe Jackson Powers Johnson just needs to grow a little bit. One thing I want to focus on from Richie Incognito was at the very end, he said, get more consistent, get better technique, grow up. What does that mean? I don't know. It kind of bugged me when he said that. Like, what does he mean grow up? Does he mean don't be immature? Does he mean start, learning the playbook better? Does he mean work on things other than the physical? I don't know. We have to, if I run into him, I'll ask him. It was definitely a better look into the situation of what's going on at center. Jordan Meredith was asked a lot of questions about Laki Tasi, and Laki Tasi is another guy with a ton to prove. Now, he doesn't have a lot to lose, right? Because he's not going anywhere. Even if he doesn't make the roster, he has the international exemption, so he's going to be put on our practice squad and he can't be touched and he's fine, which is fine. But if he continues to play well, why wouldn't you not have him on the team, right? He needs to get a little bit stronger. He needs to get his core strength up a little bit. But, man, he's a mauler. He gets his hands on you, and he likes to just road grade, right? He's a massive human being, and he's a guy that really, I think, is really jumping into playing offensive line. So you get a guy like that, you teach him some technique, you teach him the offense and how it works, and, man, you can have a really bright gem on your hand. So let's take a listen to Laki Tasi in his presser.
Hello.
Lucky, when did you find out that you would be sent out? Sorry, over here. You would be sent out there with the coin toss at the beginning of the game.
It was the night before the game. When Carroll told me, he said, "Would you like to join in with Maxx, Crosby, GENO Smith, and AJ?" So I was like, "Yeah, why not?" And just to represent the rookies and myself, especially how far I came and on the field, and it was a very proud moment.
Not only are you learning football, you're learning it at the highest level on the planet Earth, basically. How daunting has that been, and how enlightening has it been to learn football at this level?
Yeah, it's been really scary for me. It's at the start it wasn't easy to start to learn from the defensive side. Now I switched to offense. The whole playbook of the offense is just crazy to me, especially with the numbers and the words that you got to know and the assignments you got to go through the field. So. But yeah, I was struggling at the start, but then when I had the voice to speak up to the coaches, say, hey, I need help with the plays. So that's the easy part to get me work through. So yeah.
On a scale of 1 to 10, what was your level of knowledge of football coming?
Right now at the moment it would be 7.5. I was at 2. Yeah, I was at 2 or 1. I know a little bit of football at the start, so that was because I was learning at the defensive side. I thought I was confident of learning defenses, but when Carroll came up to me hey, we want you to play in the offense, so that's how I came through. So yeah.
Having a rugby background kind of help you springboard into football and to learn some of the concepts?
It's been helping me a lot. Especially with how the players go, and especially the veterans, it's very aggressive on the field. Have that mindset on the field. You just got to be ready at all costs. And once you make wrong mistakes, you just got to think about, hey, what's the next play? You just got to know what's the next thing, what's your next job. That's how my mindset's got to go through right now in this NFL. So yeah.
There's been a pretty positive reaction to your performance in the game last week. How did you feel about your performance?
I feel like I still need to learn more on the ball game. So, especially I was looking through the tapes, I I got to work on my footwork and hand placement. So there's some stuff I got to work on, but at least there's some positive on the media saying this kid only learned like a couple months. It's just it's how far you came through and get on the field and work with your teammates. So yeah, that was a positive thing I looked through in the media. So yeah.
Is it fun for you?
Pardon?
Was it a fun experience?
Oh yeah. It was a fun experience, especially with learning the new cadences, and you got to understand them on the field because the crowd gets really loud, and you just gotta keep going through with the plays and get to know the cadences. That's the one I was working on. So yeah.
You said in the past that a friend kind of got you to start playing football. What went into that decision for you to kind of give it a chance and transition from rugby?
Oh, you say that question? I say that question.
What got you to kind of start playing football to kind of give it a go?
That's a good question. Back home in rugby, I was trying to figure out where my career was going to be. I thought rugby was my one-way ticket to the professional, but it's just it wasn't working out throughout the whole year. Last year. One of the guys that owns a burger joint. I don't know if you guys heard the story. He's the owner. His name's Ben Umata, but his nickname goes by Sweet. He's a really sweet person. He's he can be aggressive on you sometimes, but it's just brotherly love. But he's the one that came up to the question and said, "Man, you should try something new. Try like NFL," and that's how I had to like think through the whole process. Like, should I do this? Because I know this journey is going to be a long one for me. So, I said to my parents, I was like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do in this career, but if I gotta do something, I might as well do it. So I just prayed and pray to God and be like, yeah, that was my answer to get through the football process. So yeah.
Lucky, you obviously learning the game is difficult, but you're coming from a physical game and now you get to wear pads.
Yes.
Is the physical part of American football a little bit easier because you're wearing pads, whereas the learning the new game is difficult? Talk about that balance, would you?
Yeah, putting on the pads on the first day, it was like really, really dreadful for me because going on the field, like you got 10-pound pads on you and a helmet on top of you, so. Yeah, it wasn't easy for me just to get through it, but I got to get used to it, and that's the main thing. That was tough, I can't lie, but I just got used to it throughout the whole camp and the OTA. So yeah.
Who among the Raiders would be a good rugby player, and what position would they play in rugby?
Ooh, I'll say JBJ. He's really good. He's got like the build. He's got 6'4", 6'4", 6'2". He's got a nice build. He's got very strong arms, very strong legs. So he's very fit on the field. So yeah.
You've mentioned conversations with Pete Carroll a few times. Did you even know Pete Carroll this time last year? What was your first memory of knowing him or meeting him?
No, I actually did not know Pete Carroll last year. I was just trying to work through my career at the whole point, and meeting him in person, I was like, man, this guy has an aura, and it's just walking up to him in front of him, just shake his hands, and it was a really true blessing, and I had to search him up on that first day on OTA. I had to what's his name, what's his background, but get to know him and learning from him, it was crazy. It was a crazy story. So yeah.
You've definitely been on his radar, and he's taken an interest in your growth as a player. What have some of the interactions with the two of you been like as he helps you develop as an NFL player?
Yeah, he's been really helpful for me. It's just tells me once you get in the field, you don't know the game. You can make mistakes, but I know back in my head that I don't want to make mistakes. I want to try be the best as I can on the field and get the best reps on the field. So, and it's just to prove people that international kids can play football. But Pete Carroll is just he's probably the best. He's like another dad he's another dad to me. So he's a blessing. So.
Two more.
Lucky at your size, your ability to move is freakish. I mean, it's just the reality at your size. Did you play any other sports? Like, did you play basketball? Did you play soccer? Did you play anything else? Where does that versatility
Yeah,
come?
I was playing basketball in high school. I wasn't great, it's just I was very unfair on the court. It's just sweating, having my sweat on the floor, like having the other players trip down. But yeah, that was the other sport I was playing. But yeah, that was it. Yeah.
You connect with Jordan Mailata, and how big of an inspiration is he for you? A guy that entered the league in 2017, and now he's a Super Bowl champion and an All-Pro.
Yeah, he's probably the biggest inspiration for me. Seeing him at the camp at the IPP International Players Pathway, he's really good on his own words, like telling me like wherever you go to, wherever team you go to, make sure you work hard and just prove people wrong, because that's how you win in life. So it's just Jordan Mailata, now that he won the Super Bowl, that just proves a lot from all the international players that can go through NFL. So yeah, hopefully one day I can do that. So yeah.
Awesome. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let me drop a bombshell on you if you didn't know. This kid is 21 years old. Laki Tasi is 21 years old, has never played football before, probably never really seen football. Maybe he just saw highlights of like a Super Bowl or whatever and knew who Tom Brady was and a couple of guys, Jordan Mailata, a couple of guys here and there, and that's pretty much it. The steps that he's been taking are massive. He's a natural, and I think moving him to offensive line, where he can get his hands on somebody and move them at his will on every single play, I think that was an amazing move for him. Now, as far as the game goes, I talked about it. If you guys saw my post-game wrap-up, I said he had some things to clean up. Technique-wise, it wasn't good. Okay, he had a lot of false steps, and his footwork wasn't great. I talked about that. When he got his hands on some guys, they were moving backwards. He was pushing them wherever he wanted. He flat backed the guy. This guy was just a beast on the field. He's a guy that, again, he doesn't have anything to lose, but he still does have a ton to prove. And I think with him being on the field and getting more reps, we'll see when he plays against the Niners. We'll see if he maybe gets in the third quarter instead of the fourth quarter. Maybe he gets some run, maybe in the first half. Who knows? But what we need to see from him is just to grow a little bit more. He seems like a kid who is very humble, really willing to learn. He's a sponge. He even said it himself. He's a very soft-spoken guy, right? But he said, when I found my voice and I was able to ask questions, that's when things started to click. These coaches know how to teach this stuff. That's one prerequisite of a Pete Carroll coach. He has to be a teacher. He has to be able to teach these things. Implementing is one thing. Do this, do that, do this. But teaching the whats and the whys and the hows and all that stuff, that's extremely important, especially when you have these young players, and especially with Laki Tasi, who's never played the game before. This is what the difference is when you develop guys. Everybody that you draft, everybody in the NFL draft, everybody, they are massive freaks athletically. All of them, every single one of them. Even the worst athletic guy out there is still an athletic freak to you and I. So what's the difference? How do you see some teams that can just, these teams just drafts a lot better? Is that it? Or is it they have better coaching staffs and they teach more and they develop better? I think it's a lot of both. I think these players coming in, you have the guys with the right mindset, guys who are willing to work, but get the right coaches around them, the right coaches and the right leadership and the right development to help get these guys and the best out of them. That's huge. And I think that's the one thing out of everything else that is coming with this coaching staff is the ability to develop and to coach and to teach these guys to make them better. Now, is this over yet? No, definitely not over yet. As far as Jordan Meredith and Jackson Powers-Johnson, it's not a done deal. But Jackson Powers-Johnson does have a lot to prove as far as can he handle an NFL offense from the center position. Jordan Meredith said so himself. The quarterback is the president of communication and the center is the vice president. Can Jackson Powers-Johnson move into that position and show that he can take over the leadership and the communication from the offensive line? All right, guys, that's my time for today. Really appreciate you guys watching. Go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe to this video. It's an excellent way to support the channel. It's absolutely free to do, and it's the bare minimum you can do to support the channel besides doing absolutely nothing, just watch the video. All right, guys, keep doing what you're doing, man. We're trucking along. I really appreciate you guys. I'm making these videos just for you every single day. I want to try my best to give you one every single day. Now, when you guys see this, the joint practice with the Niners is going to be today, okay? And we're going to talk about it tomorrow's video. So until then, I want to make sure everyone, please tell your friends, tell your haters, tell your mamas, tell everybody. Raiders versus the world is the greatest thing going on Raider Nation today. All right, guys, that's my time. Till next time, everybody. Peace. Hey, Raider Nation. Thanks for watching. There's plenty more where that came from. Go ahead and smash that like button. Drop a comment. Make sure to subscribe and share to all your socials. It's the bare minimum you can do without doing absolutely nothing.